welcome everybody. Welcome again to another exciting episode of How They Rolled. Tonight, we're going to talk about episode 15 of Together We Roll.
Mm-hmm. Part 1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2.
And by the way, I just want to say Fursies.
What?
First time that we're on the show at the same time.
Fursies?
Yeah.
Fursies.
Oh, wow. Okay, so episode 15 of Together We Roll. Never Split the Party is part 1. And
you named that?
Yeah, Never Split the Party. And part 2, Baths and Bombshells. Now, by the way, if you haven't watched these episodes, just like with any How They Rolled,
pause this and go watch it.
Pause this, go watch it. Spoilers, big time on this episode.
We're
Obviously,
talking about those episodes.
but also, every episode there's always spoilers.
Well, yeah, because you split the party.
A lot of stuff happens.
I'm not sorry.
No, I'm not either. But I'm just like, oh.
Well, why are you sorry? Why would you be sorry? Because you're not the one that... The players are the ones that would be manipulating you and tearing you into pieces.
Well, no, okay. Well, I knew you were going to ask me about this, and I do apologize.
Okay.
But
Go ahead. The first thing we did at the beginning of episode 15, because we had multiple activities that we all needed to pursue, and so in a organized fashion.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos. That's organized chaos. Yeah. We did what every horror film does, is split the party, so that they can be picked off one by one.
You make it sound like it went so badly.
Well, it was a mixed
just
bag.
because you dealt with the hugging plants doesn't mean that the rest of us okay?
I was part 2, okay?
And this is when all people who haven't watched this episode go run off to actually go watch the episodes.
So if I can, we split up into 3 different groups.
Yes, and as you guys were contemplating this, I'm just like, oh no.
We're not sorry.
I won't stop you, but at the same time, and this is just a little me because of my experience from other games in the past and experiencing other games in the past. Splitting the party is very good for multitasking, but at the same time, it grinds the table's game for players to help to a halt. Meaning, if, let's say, you, Sparks, and, Hazel, went off to do your own thing. If you don't do it correctly and go back and forth and how I juggled it very well.
You did a fantastic job. By the way,
expected, but
these episodes did not grind to a halt, and that was what was so amazing. You did such a great job.
Meaning, if you don't do it right and you're not on the ball on going back and forth and splitting it, the various different stories and parts that you can to go to the other parts in the meanwhile section, essentially. One player could be quite literally just sitting there just for 2 hours.
So literally having someone reading you a book.
Exactly. And the difference between tabletop role-playing games and movies or video games is that you're there to experience the world and also manipulate it. The players want to have control of what they are and a little bit of control of what they can do around you to basically cause ripples in the effect of the universe. That's what they strive for, at least that's what I look for, kind of deal. And if you're just sitting there for 3 hours and only get maybe 50 or 20 minutes of gameplay for the entire night, it's a little aggravating in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's
it is a common rule, I imagine. We didn't coin
common
it.
rule for our table.
But it's a common rule for a lot of people. Never split the party. Not just for a horror film setting, but I'm talking about for any D&D table. It really isn't a good idea to normally split the party because it divides the focus of the group up. But you, Nick, did a fantastic job at...
And if you have multiple combats going on in different sections, it just becomes a fucking nightmare.
So, yeah, we came back from our 4-week hiatus. You guys aren't really seeing a hiatus because we're still delivering content every week. But we took a break because we're all...
4-week block, 4 weeks.
And
holidays, man.
Holidays, yeah.
Then to turn around and throw that challenge to our DM was a big ball we gave him.
I'm back on the horse. Oh crap! Bunch of errors. Let me pull this one. Oh, we're down.
Yeah. So great work, Nick. Great work, Nick.
It's also great work to everyone at the table too. They saw the story aspects of where they needed to go, and they didn't fight it. They didn't say, no, I want to push that button and just run in the opposite tangent. Would have caused
Yeah.
an interesting story, but a little different reactions.
We didn't have what can also happen at some tables is a group or group of people or will start to try and run the table, and their mission, their activity is more important than the rest of the tables. And the most powerful thing I think as a player or a DM would be is if you can get players that listen to the other players and know when, and so that they can share the table and not. And if all the players are doing that, then you can have a successful a table. But that's extremely challenging to do.
Also, on top of that, one thing that I find is really difficult for a lot of people to do in any game sense, especially when you just put the party in general, metagaming. You're not there.
Yeah.
You can't say
There were
anything.
a lot of flies over the table, I have to say.
So when someone who is not there starts saying something or giving their input, then we call that metagaming, and it's an outside source, outside information that you're not supposed to
Sometimes
have.
it's from a squirrel.
Stupid flies.
Sometimes it's a lot of times it's flies.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just that random person in the distance that thinks he's funny, but he's like, no, you're not funny. Just go away. You don't know what's going on.
It's fine for the other players to talk amongst themselves, but not to the people who are in that certain situation, because again, they're not there. So.
Yeah.
And on another note, if we ever get to that, listen to the other players, we'll let you know because we're still working on it.
It's
It's hard. It's a changing.
Yeah.
It's always a struggle.
Depends on the night.
Oh yeah. And especially when there's a different emotion going on in the table, it gets crazy. Especially when, well, for instance, for like you, I throw down a character that is so freaking fun to play, but delivers such devastating news.
So
It's
yes.
his fault.
Hence one of the names of our titles of part 2 being Baths and Bombshells.
Well,
But
no,
anyway,
this was part 1 actually.
I know it was.
But the rest of the group
but
found out.
then we had to
Yeah.
deal with that bombshell when everyone finally got together on part 2. But any case, I'm going to let you go, Nick, so you can prepare for tonight's game.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll.
Chris, you gonna tag me out?
Tag out, bro. Tag out.
Tag out. All right.
Good. That'll give me a good sound check point. Except you'll be off camera, so I'll be like,
Should I just get
"Oh,
all
that
that
didn't
down?
work."
By the way, we didn't clap. We just slammed our heads together.
So the places that we broke into 3 parts, right? 3 groups. So we had Derek, Sonny, and Barian. So Derek, you're going to represent one of the groups here, and then we had that was one group, and you guys went off to Griff Grindstone. Apparently, the real barbarian's name, Griff Grindstone, also nicknamed the Bear or the Old Fart. I guess it all depends on
Your interpretation or your
Yeah.
likeness of him?
Who you're talking to?
Who's talking
How
to?
drunk is he?
whether or not he is in the room or not. Is probably whether or not you say.
I mean, I've had written down that his name is Griff for months.
So
Actually, and he did not want people to know his real name either. That's why he called himself the Bear.
yeah.
So
Makes sense. Level 20.
And I think he called himself, without asking the DM, I think you're right. He probably coined himself the Bear, or someone else did it affectionately, but probably he did. And the old fart is probably someone.
Party.
Huh?
It was probably a member of his old party.
we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
that would be
know.
sad. Oh, sad face. Hey, we can talk about sad face in a moment. But the old fart was probably given from other people, because I don't see yourself giving your nickname an
No.
old fart. But anyway, great nicknames and so forth.
Unless it just reeks.
So Derek, Sonny, and Barian go to, and I've mixed up the orders here. I've combined it all together because it does jump around in all the episodes. Nick does again a great job to segue to each of the groups over and over again, back and forth and back and forth, and so it's incredibly engaging. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. If you have, when you do see it, comment please. Comment. We'd love to see your comments. What you like to see, what you didn't like. So let's see here. Why were you going to see him? Why were you going over to Griff Grindstone? This is the guy that you just fought in the pit, the sand pit.
Well, the whole reason we fought him in the sand pit was because he needs the information of where the lightning sword of Lazar is. He knows that information. He was part of the dwarves that built the dungeon for this guy, who had this sword to begin with. And as a reward, he wound up killing all the dwarves so they wouldn't be able to tell the location of this castle or dungeon or whatever he had him build. And then the sword was basically buried with the brother who owned the sword in the dungeon. So this dungeon is going to have traps. It has the lightning sword of Lazar, and the point was that he deliberately tried to wipe out the dwarves who built it for him, so nobody else would know where this location is or how to get into the dungeon in order to get to the sword.
Well,
and that's information is something that Derek was searching for, and
Griff
Grindstone was the only survivor. He was the only survivor. So.
And he gave it. He mentioned, I remember the list of traps and things that he was describing. I was like, wow, I think it's going to Dr. Drones. Hand it over. Avoid the light. That kind of stuff.
It's like, I was hoping for more detailed information, not generals, but okay.
He has a 6 intelligence.
Yeah,
right.
This
I wasn't
thing's
counting on that either. I was counting on something like, here's the map, or watch out for this trap, or here's the coded message to have to deal with this trap, so you figure it out. Something like a Indiana Jones kind of thing where only the penitent will pass or something.
That's way too convenient.
Wow.
He did say something about
cool.
that. He actually said, you said that the penitent man shall pass, only the penitent man shall pass, which again, another Indiana Jones film, right? He mentioned only the honor can enter.
Right. And that was helpful because that actually has to deal with the vault where the sword is allocated. And my memory is not good, so I did write that down so I wouldn't forget. But that is something that's critical. And I need the favors of 2 other honorable swordsmen who would be willing to fight with me.
Yep, only the honor can enter. You were asking about whether or not Eck was a swordsman?
Correct.
Because you needed 2 other swordsmen?
I needed 2 other swordsmen willing to back him up. And so that's why I was kind of trying to find out from the players who here is another swordsman. Now,
right, well, Eck is definitely a swordsman.
Right, and we did find out that Devros is a swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that since I sacrificed my life to help him, that he would consider being one of those honorable people
potentially sacrificing his life.
Well, it didn't say that they would have to sacrifice their lives. It just said that they were honorable in order to back him up. So if it winds up like 3 of us have to fight, they're willing to back me up. So,
I'm a swordsman too.
And you're a swordsman too. So I have a couple
So
of
you
options here.
have the
I
heirs
just
and
need
the
to know
spares.
who's willing to
Heirs
put
and
their
spares.
who's willing to put their lives on the line to back me up in order to go into this vault.
I mean, I've got 1 month left anyway, so.
Don't talk like
Oh,
that.
wait a minute. Stop. We haven't gotten there yet.
Not if the party can help it.
Don't do any spoilers yet. Okay, so
Spoilers, this is
and
the
by the
spoiler
way,
episode.
Mac and Jace are on their way, so they may show up at any time. Just FYI. So if you see it, you might hear them. He also mentioned before we move on to the next group here. He also mentioned, meaning Griff Grindstone mentioned there was something with the jet black skin, some dude with jet black skin we should avoid, and also one that he thought was maybe white skin with tattoos and stuff.
That was creatures along the way to it.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was trying to ask him: is there anything that we should be on the lookout on the way?
Well,
there?
it didn't sound very. Very safe to travel. So very safe. And this place is a couple hundred miles east of where we're at, roughly.
But what surprises me the most is that Griff Grindstone actually gave me his axe as an honorable act, so that counted as one of the 3 backups.
And speaking of whether or not Mac was on his way, he was apparently outside. And I felt his presence. And here comes Jace as well.
Hey guys.
So, any case, last thing is you gifted his axe blade back. He
Gifted it back to
you.
me.
Now that's interesting
With the
because
With the handle. The thing they beat my ass with.
I still want to say this out of metagaming. We don't know if it's magical.
It's totally magical. It was in the freaking
Well, you haven't
Dragon's
checked it out
Keep.
yet.
It was in the Dragon's Keep because it was part of an object that Griff Grindstone owned, and the dragon was using that seeing pool of liquid,
I just like to point out
that item, to look on one of his favorite enemies,
Yeah.
being Griff Grindstone.
Griff
So the
Grindstone
question
was an
is,
enemy,
it
so-
may or may not be magical,
Exactly.
but it was definitely tied to Griff
I'd
Grindstone.
also like to point out it was also in a volcano.
True.
Right, but that doesn't mean the axe or
We
We were
Anyway.
able to
was
pick it
in
up
the
and
lava.
it didn't immediately burn us.
What? Was it in the lava though?
No, but it
Okay,
was.
so we don't know if it's magical or not.
It would have
Yeah.
been heated up by the air, like when you put something in the oven.
Not necessarily metal though.
We were basically cooking.
I remember
That's
had this
true,
reading glow about me.
I don't think the metal would go that.
Anyway, we don't know if it's magical for certain because no one has actually checked. Okay.
Yes, somebody in the party will check it out, and it will be in the. next episode.
Apparently Mac says he did, and I missed it. Mac, you're off camera, but you said.
Disembodied voice, speak.
Well, you can come in anytime.
So let's jump into Ek and Ga real quick, and then we're going to cover the meat and potatoes of this episode. That's going to be Sparks and Hazel.
I mean,
But
there was a lot that happened. I think part 2 was the one where everything really happened.
Yeah. Well, it was the back end of part 1, and then part 2 is where we really dealt with a lot of the elements of all three parties splitting, and then coming back together in part 2, and everyone's like, "You did what? You said what? You found what?" And it becomes very interesting of what we're going to do, because we don't know as it closed that episode that night. Anyway, Ek and Ga and Davros decided to go to the Coin Brew estate. Now, the Coin Brew estate was the estate that we were offered to oversee as part of, and being given a stipend, and apparently it's this mansion type home. So we go up there, and it's in the upper end of town. Of course, God didn't have too much to say, but Ek apparently had lots to say, because when he met several dwarvish folk who asked him that we needed to ask directions for and show papers for, and so forth. Well, Ek got a little full of himself and went no, and
I speak Dwarvish.
I speak Dwarvish, and quickly Davros became my servant. Davros didn't like that too well. But really, someone who didn't like it too well was Ga, because feeling that tap on my shoulder and him going, I'm like, what? Oh, you know Dwarvish? Yeah. So it was like his dad finding out that he had been stealing from the cookie jar, that kind of stuff. But anyway, one of the things that we were greeted by was two red-haired Dwarvish twins, and also there was some other things which we'll cover at the, well, I might as well here. There was the things called the huggy bushes, but we'll cover those in a minute.
Hugging plants.
Yeah. Make sure we're closed up. So what I found very interesting at that place was how pristine it was and how perfect it was, and it didn't feel right to God or Ek at all. So we'll cover that here at the back end of of our episode. But let's. So very opulent estate, almost perfect in every way, except for the huggy plants. But and that's what the thing. It's too quiet. Well, it's too perfect. So as far as Ek is concerned, Hazel and Sparks. Okay, so you guys decided you're going to go off to the Dirty Hands pottery shop.
Way off in the middle of nowhere.
Way off in the middle of nowhere. Why were you going there?
There's apparently a warforged there that, any warforged at this point is something that I need to talk to. So that's one. I was going there to try and find some information.
What was the specific information you were thinking you were to find there?
Anything. Any information is anything. I really don't care what the information was. Hell, I could figure out how my armor was made. I wouldn't care.
It was just the fact that it was another one of your race.
They have some information.
I mean, I thought one of the main things we were going for was to figure out how to repair you.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Which is very helpful.
So
you're taking a lot of damage.
Yep.
You finally get out there. So the shop, it's a little pottery shop, and Do you recall what it was like when it was there, when you got there, how to get inside? And
Well, first off, I can't fit. So, because, well, we are in the city of dwarves, and I'm 7 foot tall.
He's a small.
But this is apparently a shop that is run by this other Warforged.
Who I have chalked up to being a Warforged monk. We get inside and we just see all these pottery, really nicely made pottery, just all over the place. It comes out of the back room. He's more spindly. It looks like he's just a later model. But what really was interesting because he had a face, because he took a cannonball to the face when he was in the wars. So he repaired himself by basically switching over theater masks to different emotions. It's really cool.
Yeah, just brilliant.
Because his voice box broke, so he could only ever speak with a really cheery and really annoying.
Go get him attitude.
He was borderline bard, but he couldn't turn off bard.
I loved him so much. It's not his fault.
I say this with remorse.
Later on, we get back. We go to find his little sanctum, this open area, which was kind of refreshing considering we've been in a volcano for the better part of a week.
What do you recall?
The sky.
I'm sorry.
I got to see the sky.
Yeah, he took you to. Well, where did he take you to so you could see the sky? Because we're in the caves and
Little
stuff.
sanctum.
A little like sanctuary area.
Way up in the middle of nowhere. And we got talking there. That was nice. I showed him some things here and there. Asked him a few questions about the
I bought some
tank,
plants.
the tank that I'm missing, the tank that I currently have. I learned things about Sal, Will, the Rasputar,
And that you have, you're gonna die in
and
a
about
month.
love.
Or
Yeah.
sooner if you keep taking damage.
Yes, you have about 1 month to live. I say this with remorse. In that tone.
He was happier.
Now, did this thing look like you at all?
No, it didn't. He was very
I
more.
say thing. Sorry, did this person look like you? 'Cause
He
it's-
was a different model. He didn't have the fuel that I did use. Like, I don't tire. I don't have to worry about resting. I just have to have a period of inertment in order to get that's basically my version of rest. But I can always fight and not have to worry about it. I can just keep stripping out basically fuel tanks and putting more in to keep going. He actually has to rest to recuperate. But he doesn't have to worry about the Rasputar. So,
Yeah, and
Pluses and minus depending on what model you are.
yes.
if you want to learn about what the Rasputar is, if you don't watch the episode, you need to watch the episode. So he says, he drops this thing very just out of the blue. Here's a brick. Boom, you're going to die. You got a month. And he says it in a wonderfully cheery mood. What did he mention that's going to happen before you finally stop functioning?
I'm gonna go insane and kill everything in sight.
Yep.
Which
For about a
would
week.
be a bad thing for the party.
Yeah, so meanwhile, while this is going on, we have, in parallel, we have Ek, Ga, and Davros are probably just about arriving at the estate at this point. And we've got Sonny and Barry, and then they're probably leaving to come to the estate, and you guys are finding out this incredible news, and we're none the wiser. So what did he say how you can get yourself fixed?
Something that I figured out when I first read the notebook for my father, or my father figure. I need to go to the capital, which was he had, the capital of the Barossian Empire. That's where I was going this whole time. And he actually told me that I could find this person who was a gnome in the noble section or the noble district of the capital of the Barossian Empire, and way more precise directions on where to go. So, that's where I was heading to begin with. Now I have at least a more defined location, but I still don't have papers, so I need to kind of stick around with the rock of do what I want and get away with it.
Yeah, so we're not even sure. Again, we don't after you get back, but now we don't even know if we can go there because we do not have
An airship.
what we understand. Number one, the time to get there.
Well, the only
possibly.
way to get there is airship.
Well, yeah, it sounds like another teleportation or
number two.
Airship. That's going to take a week even.
And number two,
Because
we
we
don't
can get
know.
teleport would be faster.
We don't even know if we can get in there because going into that capital could be extremely dangerous for all of us, for one reason or another. So So that may or may not be our best choice. So this is going to be interesting because there's so many different ways. But where did he say that this? What did he say the repair? I guess liquid or paste
Will?
or whatever it is.
Will or salve?
Yeah. Where's it
Oh,
come
yeah. So, I forgot about that part actually. It turns out it comes from a flower or root system of a flower that grows in Mercury that originally came from the Shadowfang.
from? Or magnesium was also referenced as well. so-
It grew with magnesium in a pool of Mercury from the Shadowfang. So in other words, we either need to go to the Shadowfang to get me more of this material so that I can make more will, or we need to go to the capital to get this taken care of. But I don't think we have the time frame for that. I don't have anyone that knows. I don't know anyone that knows how to get to the Shadowfang. I don't know anything about the Shadowfang. I've been sitting here in the freaking
The bathtub?
no.
And for those who have watched Stranger Things, I could be completely wrong, but I'm envisioning the Shadow Fae being like the Upside Down in Stranger Things. Which is like, oh great, sure, let's go. No.
I remember we finished the last episode off of me just going through and reading pretty much every single book in the entirety of the library over the course of the night, or at least a good chunk of them, because everyone went to sleep. I don't want to sleep, so I'm just going to sit there and read every single book that is remotely close to.
You know,
what
I
I'm
tried,
looking
man.
for. I mean, I'm reading
I tried.
I'm reading botany here, because I don't know any different. Luckily, Baron threw a rock, or found a paper pseudo dragon.
Yeah,
In the
that
study.
was cool.
That was interesting.
That
Paper
was
pseudo
cool.
dragon.
That was really cool.
It's also a pain in the ass
Our
because
DM is freaking inventive.
it was erasing my notes. It's a freaking grammar note.
It was writing it right
So
No, I wasn't writing it. I was just erasing it.
because yours was wrong.
I don't care. As long as I can read it, that's all I care about. Was it not like my penmanship or something?
Yeah.
Not so too bad.
I'm a war for it. I'm doing this with a quill.
It wasn't a tattoo.
I think it's a tattoo.
No, tattoo implies permanent.
Right. Yep.
She's gonna punch you if you say
What?
anything.
It's like we don't know if it's erasable or not.
It's ink.
Okay.
It was just
Well,
drawn.
we'll see. We'll find out. We will find out.
So, there's Huggy Bushes. I think it was Barian that was Barian. You're off camera, but was it you that found the Huggy Bushes and didn't
He nodded yes.
you saw them but didn't actually get hugged by them?
No, he got a high enough roll.
He dodged.
Yeah, and then he goes in and tells me
Oh yeah. Sure.
because
Careful
there's a
of the huggy
nice little creek out there. You should go swimming.
Careful of the huggy plants.
That's how X
He did warn you.
That's not.
You can
he
speak
also
up
didn't
and
say
tell me
that you should go
otherwise.
swimming.
He did warn you.
He
So
did say watch out.
So yeah.
Gave fair warning.
Yeah, hilarious ensues when Ek, a barbarian,
Gets screwed by a plant.
Gets
Fails incredibly.
Okay, the plant, yeah, whatever. So,
By a plant. He got
So-
very hugged. Very much hugged.
so we're inside this mansion. You guys are still arriving, right? You haven't quite got here yet, but I guess we can. It's this room with this giant pool in it. Essentially, it's a bath, but it's like the size of almost like an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Not that big, but a good-sized swimming pool, 50 foot long, 20 feet wide, kind of thing. So nice sized swimming pool. And we were the worst tenants ever because we destroyed that bath.
You were very dirty, even though like we used prestidigitation.
And you and your
It's not
damn
the same.
turtle soup.
It's not the same.
Wow, he didn't mention turtle soup again. Did he?
Yes, you
Yes, he
did.
did. That's why I tackled your ass and then took you into the pool.
That's true. I forgot that. Yes, you did tackle me. Yes.
I think you needed to
I really wish I had made that dash roll though. That would have been cool.
Oh,
Incoming. Woo, bye bye.
No, it was better this way.
Yeah. Either way.
So, but yeah, we completely destroyed the bath. And then there was strategic steam was everywhere, which was the camera shots all have steam going on because everyone's naked. X, the only one who didn't take off his clothes because he doesn't have any really. Did forget to take off his packs, so that was rather interesting.
I mean, I don't have anything like that, so I don't have to worry about it. I mean, if it's take my armor
Yeah,
off, then you
well-
see the under and innards, I guess that could be considered like that, but
Yeah. Well, you guys come back, and we're like, great, hey, we share our stuff. What was your eloquent statement that you shared, Hazel, to inform us of this incredibly delicate... Did you learn something from Sharam,
it's about as delicate as a
This-
brick.
What was the exact wording that I did? Because I liked that wording.
All I know is you were about as delicate as a brick.
I
Let's see.
don't have great charisma and, like,
It shows.
yeah.
Yeah, it was something to
I don't know why you guys keep expecting better out of me.
It was something like, oh, it was great. We met the guy. We bought some pots. I got some plants. X gonna die in a month, and
No, not Egg.
Yeah.
Oh.
Spark's gonna
Spark's
die in
gonna
a month, and we need to fix that.
What? Meanwhile, I'm
Yeah,
walking into
everybody-
the pool and just
Right.
falling my back underneath the water.
You know, I at least said something.
I was silent the entire walk back, by the way.
It's okay.
You've
That's
got
fair.
reason to be. It's not every day you find out you got a month left to live.
hey, can I? Who wants to trade out? I want to bring Mac in because I got some stories about him.
Okay.
And of the bow wow questions.
Your turn, man.
I don't know what that noise means, but it doesn't sound good.
1970s porn music. Come on. So
Wait, before we do this, there's the other part of your Christmas present. It just came.
Merry Christmas.
wow.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
Never have too many guys.
Merry Christmas.
over a month late, but
Hey.
never.
Well,
Hey.
there was
Makes it
there's
last
a lot of it in there. He got like 5 sets of dice.
Oh, cool. Any case, so a couple things here that you had were over at the mansion, and you. Well, let's see. No, you were starting to hook up with who was it?
I was with
A
these
dwarf.
these three, or these two. I was with him and Varian. And then we came back because he had to take care of his axe headed thing. And I did check the axe head to see if it was magical. I did the whole grouping of things.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
It was not magical.
It was a few episodes
right?
ago.
The axe was not magical.
At the time, but it may be when you put it with the handle.
Oh, I don't know. That's
Oh,
true.
we might have to check it again then.
But my question is who was the dwarf woman or whatever that you were kind of
Barmaid.
doing an eye for? The barmaid. That's right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was being a bard,
Yeah. Oh. See. Okay.
and I got some smoothie.
You were grunting the half shell, were you?
No.
Ah.
He was warbling
No,
the
first of all, what you guys thought you did to the bath chamber. Just saying.
nasty.
Now,
What? It's a bathhouse.
one of the other things you reached out to was Lady Lolo.
Yes.
And why were you reaching out to her?
Well, I mean, there's several reasons. One, I've been trying to get a hold of her about the scrying platform that was in the Dragon's Den.
Ah,
Plus, need to let her know where we're at because multipass. She's given us the multipass. I want to make sure it's going good. So, but it was actually there's kind of a cutback. I was just going on. I was really tired, so I apologize to the fans. I was on Atlanta time in California. I was like half out of it, but Varian used the sending stone to send her stuff, but that's not how the sending stones work. So, kind of a rewind. We actually paid for 2 sending scrolls. So,
okay.
They were sending
By the way,
scrolls instead of stones.
no, we have the stones, but we had to pay this.
Oh.
Any case, so then several of us went to sleep, exhausted, and we had several visions. Let's see here, who was it that had several sleeping visions here? I'm trying to recall. Sonny, you had one, but it wasn't covered yet. That's
No,
going to be
it's
open.
very opening.
Well, we're going to open the next episode with that. I have a
Varian
feeling.
had one.
Barian, you had one. Who else had one?
I don't sleep.
No, you don't sleep. You're right.
I
I could
think-
have sworn there was.
I think it was just going into
I
mine.
could have sworn there was 2, but
There was 2. It was Varian and Sunny. But we
oh,
didn't use
I
it.
thought it was 2 other ones. Okay.
Yeah, but Sunny was actually sleeping, so
Okay.
Literally, he was actually sleeping.
I fell asleep at the table. That's no reflection on our DM. It's reflection on getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning our time. Because
Shows
I'm not
me-
that good.
It shows how dedicated you are.
Yeah, because I wasn't involved in any of that paper dragon thing, So I don't know anything about all that. That's like the first I've heard of it.
It's okay. The episode will air. You can watch it.
So anyway, we're all excited here to get on to episode 16, part 1 and 2 tonight. Let's see here. We're going to open up with your vision, and we're going to find out. We're going to have to collaborate here. We've come to terms with finding out that Hazel didn't make a joke, that it's real, that he's going to die here in a month. We thought we had other agendas, and now we're having to do a left
Priority agenda.
Well, no, we have multiple agendas though. We didn't have a time limit. Now we have a time limit. Barian's quests that are earth-shattering.
Yeah.
We have to get his sword of I feel better about myself.
Lightning Sword of Lazar.
Yes, that one.
I feel better about myself.
And we gotta go rescue him.
Get my sword of I feel better about myself.
No.
Well, that's what it's been the whole time. We have no idea what it is. I mean, we could probably go kill that guy right now. By as powerful as we've gotten in comparison.
We have to get through the dungeon first.
No, to just go to the kingdom, or your guy, the French kingdom, whatever you call it.
French kingdom?
Florence?
Florence.
Yeah, we
yes,
go to Florence. And
as an army, we are 5, 6, 7, no 8.
We got a few, but we got mighty.
Yeah.
I have a plan.
I prefer to be a little bit higher.
You do have a plan. Okay, you're not wearing the shirt. I had a plan.
Yeah.
I had a 1 on it with a dog eye last
Yeah,
week.
but
Don't worry.
my plans usually work.
Usually.
Or what we can do is we can wait until he goes crazy and then
Yeah.
leave him there.
No, you know what this is like? This is like walking.
That was part of my plan. We give it if we know
backup plan.
If we can't make it in time and we can get to Florence in time, we give him as a gift to the kingdom, and then we just leave.
Jesus.
And you wonder
That is
why I
so
don't feel like
bad.
a
That is
champion.
so bad.
This is like walking around with the Terminator that's been reprogrammed and is protecting you, but the microchip is going to go bad,
And we don't know when.
and it's going to
gonna
flip,
default.
and it's going to default, and
Back
next
to
thing you know,
zero.
No, and I have to disagree with the thing you said earlier. This doesn't happen every day. You get this news. For him, in multiple campaigns, it happens every day.
We're not joking about that.
That is sad.
Literally, last game, I died so many times, but didn't actually die. It's just like, oh, you get touched by this. Oh, you get touched by this. Oh, you need a new heart now.
Yeah.
back to this game though, campaign. Yep.
But yeah, so
They don't have no one
30
else
days, you can't get to the capital in 30 days walking. We don't have an airship and we don't have papers. So we're probably better off going to the Shadow Fae to get you some juice to keep you going.
So
Does your character
I see us having a vision,
No.
and then getting in a war room and having these discussions to identify what our action plans are.
Whoa.
What?
I'm going to have my vision and then seconds. And then we can go to the war room.
Right. You're not going to clean up,
perfectly
right?
sense.
That's someone else's job.
Prestidigitation. It works for everything.
I'm talking about the room.
Prestidigitation.
There's
It
help
works
for
for
that.
everything.
Those people work very hard at their jobs. We have to let them do their jobs.
That place is creepy. I'm sorry. There's things going on and your stuff is not making it creep out. There's things that are too perfect in that place, and
What
there's
about me that would
something.
make you creep
You know
out?
what? If it wasn't, our DM is probably going to go, yeah. You think you have 3 things to worry about? I'm going to give you 6 tonight. Watch us.
Well, that does kind of sound like our DM, but
What's creepy about?
a perfectly managed garden.
Nothing's creepy about you. Everything's creepy about the
Didn't
place
you
we're
say-
in.
I'm not creeped out by you, but I'm creeped out by this place.
Yeah, he's talking about the mansion that we're staying at.
It's a nice place.
It's a nice place. You've got a.
They're nice people.
You've obviously got what, a ranger taking care of the garden, or something?
Yeah.
Sure.
He just doesn't like the huggy plants.
That's right. You
You
got a
just-
wrong
you just
impression.
don't like it because you had a bad first experience.
See,
It's
now,
okay.
now he's like,
Okay, so
see?
thanks for tuning in. We're going to get to gameplay here for number 16 of TWR. Together we roll. Go out, subscribe, like. Please show your support, show your love. We love you. Please love us back. And until next time, keep on rolling. Cheers.
We'll love you a long time.
Why?
Because I'm a bard.
So you were saying what about 15?
It's a round number. Well, rounder.
What?
I've already rolled my psychic damage for the day.
Okay, well, okay, it is a round number in the concept, but it's not an even number.
No, I mean,
No, I didn't say even.
yeah,
It's
it,
know.
okay, okay.
I mean,
You hear
it's
round
technically
number and you're
physically
like-
round.
On one side of it, yeah.
It's
And-
round like an octagon.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying round up to the most whole number.
Well, it's like high pixel density versus low pixel density.
That makes no sense for mathematics.
It does if you're trying to make a round a curve using pixels.
Welcome to Basic
Got
Geometry.
it.
Tonight we will discover
You understood?
fractions.
I understood the pixels.
Okay, what is going on with the
We'll
pieces?
take whole numbers and break them apart.
Why are you doing that now?
What are you doing?
It's trying to. It's for some reason it's trying to analyze for viruses right now. What? Go away! Stop it!
You're a virus.
No life is a virus, okay?
It's Windows.
I'm glad I brought this.
That let's not touch that subject, okay?
We're still rolling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, look. Product placement.
This should never. Someday.
All right.
Someday in the future.
Our misery for your pleasure.
Everyone loves seeing this. With your small,
All right.
small donation,
All
you
right,
can help. Give us a
Quiet
call.
on set. We're going.
In order to get into the vault. So
Ah.
that is something critical. That's what I wanted to ask some of the players, but we never really, I tried to start it, but we really didn't get around to it because of the round robin. So that's still something to come up in conversation.
We're going to take a break. We're taking a break right now. Hey, guess what? We got more back into content because you see, the last episode of How They Rolled that's up that we posted out. Go take a look at it because I put outtakes at the end. So yeah,
Yeah, you can
Sorry,
you can-
you saw a butterfly.
Ginger saw a butterfly.
Butterfly.
Yeah, it was much more colorful than her, and she was jealous.
God, she freaks the hell out with me.
Was it a butterfly?
It was a butterfly.
Are you
on-
serious? Wow.
It was a butterfly.
I thought you were
on the-
joking.
It was on the TV.
It was a really big
that explains it. I think this is a little
Yeah,
kind
she
of.
freaked
It's not
the
spring
hell
yet.
out.
There should be no butterflies out here.
Okay.
And we'll just move a lot so we can actually figure out
Yeah.
where the moving point is. Just like, this is where the moving point is. You gotta cut it here.
Yeah. And by the way, folks, if you were watching and you're listening in and you hear the telltale sounds of dice rolling, that is because that is true. That is dice rolling. That is the chosen ones are being found.
Sorry,
by,
guys.
By Hazel here.
I had to move on to the metal ones at some point. I'm sorry.
So
How many sets do you
yeah,
have
the
again?
microphone will pick.
30.
30 sets.
Just to give you an idea, the microphone picks me up chewing ice.
30 sets.
So I'm chewing. I got to stop my bad ice chewing habit because I hear crunch, 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 crunch.
That's a stereotype. That is.
Yep.
Yep.
Welcome to D&D. Everything's a stereotype.
Oh God, yes. Come on. I started speaking in a bad Scottish accent as my first character, and so there you go.
Was it bad though?
It was so bad the DM killed him.
No, he didn't kill him.
It was so bad he killed himself. There you go.
Subconsciously, he just.
Oh.
Roll the back.
Okay.
And shut it down.